Gold in League of Legends is less important than it has ever been in League's history. This is a monumental shift in League's design, which is the result of a gradual process which recently hit a breaking point in patch 14.19, where Riot nerfed most gold values and stats given from items almost across the board. This officially knocked gold down in the priority list for the best players, which fundamentally changed their strategies and decision making, which is what we're going to teach you about today. So if gold not being the priority anymore is new news to you, then you're going to love the guide we have in store for you, because not only will you learn the most OP strategies you've never even heard or thought about before, but you're going to be able to crush the players who are still thinking about the old way of playing, with gold first and experience second. Now, when most players think about experience being valuable, they think about the well-known level up power spikes, getting level 3 first and taking a trade, or getting level 6 first and going for a kill with the ultimate advantage. These are lane winning concepts still, when you can pull them off. But that's not what we're going to talk about in this guide. You see, those key level up power spikes are so well known by this point that almost every player respects the potential, even the players in low elo, and so they just play safe. Not only that though, but you only get a couple of these opportunities over the course of an entire game where you can exploit these level up advantages. The best players know that this though is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's actually so much more you begin using experience for in the form of the following terms that you've probably never even heard for in League of Legends. We're talking about unrealized XP and realized XP, and temporary XP versus permanent XP. Once we teach you what these concepts mean and how to use them, you'll be able to execute strategies you've never even heard of before and use them to take over games completely. And to demonstrate to you how effective these strategies are and how easy they are to apply to your own games, every single example that we use in this video are featuring my own students playing in their own ranks to prove to you that these methods you're about to learn matter, and they aren't just reserved for the highest elo players with the fastest hands, which is of course what Skill-Capped specializes in, giving you the best possible strategies, guaranteeing you can climb using knowledge, not just mechanics. Visit our website to access the world's best League of Legends courses designed to help you climb stupidly fast in any role. Our comprehensive guides created by challenger players fast track you through the ranks to escape elo hell, guaranteed. We're so confident in our methods that if you don't climb at least 5 divisions using Skill-Capped, we'll give you a full refund. Don't let mechanics hold you back. Unlock your true potential with Skill-Capped today. We've included a special discount link in the description below. As we mentioned in the video's intro, there are a ton of different types of XP advantages that the average player doesn't even know about. With a proper understanding of all of the different types of XP advantages you can have, you can even string multiple of them all together into a long series of advantages that lets you completely dominate your lane opponent, snowball out of control, and hard carry a game. To demonstrate the difference between a player who knows how to play around these XP advantages and a player who doesn't, we have a game today played at a Platinum 4 elo, again by one of my students. When the minions arrive in lane and our laning phase begins, we gain the ability to try to create our first advantage, a temporary XP advantage. By killing more minions than her opponent, Aurora was able to reach level 4 before Darius, giving her a temporary level lead. With this temporary level lead, she can now look for trades and zone Darius off the wave. This seems obvious and most players already know this much, but as we mentioned earlier, this is just the tip of the iceberg. But keep watching, we're about to go deeper. Our Aurora player already knows that she's much stronger than Darius, but she made one crucial mistake in forgetting to ward before playing so aggressively, so she gets caught out far up in the lane and dies to a gank from Amumu. Luckily for her though, she still has teleport, so she's able to respawn and TP back to lane quick enough to only lose 1 minion worth of XP. After dying here, Aurora gave over 300 gold because of the kill she gave over to Darius, and she now has no summoner spells. Most players would look at this situation and say that Aurora is in a terrible position, but the highest ranking solo queue players actually know that Aurora is in a position that some would consider favorable because of our second advantage we're now going to point out. Now, we're talking about permanent XP leads. Right now, Darius and Aurora have an almost identical amount of XP, with Aurora only being slightly ahead by a couple of minions because of some she zoned in the early levels. What's important to note though, is that Aurora only lost 1 minion of XP while dead because she could TP back. But Darius on the other hand doesn't have TP, so he has to walk the entire way back to lane from base. Whilst Darius is walking out of base, he misses the XP for 4 minions that his lane opponent Aurora didn't miss. That's 3 melees and most importantly, a cannon minion, which is worth a ton of XP on its own. This may not seem like much, but as you're about to see, every little bit matters and this tiny detail absolutely balloon out of control. We can tell here by looking at Aurora's XP bar while she takes the 3 melees in the cannon, that these 4 minions were worth about half a level of XP to her, which means that Aurora has now secured a permanent XP lead of about half a level over Darius. To emphasize how important this half a level lead truly is, I have a question for you. If you were to buy them in the store using gold, roughly how much would it cost you to buy the stats that a level up gives you? The answer is roughly 600 gold worth of stats, meaning that despite being at a gold deficit, if Aurora knows how to play this, she will still have moments where, because of the permanent XP lead she's locked in now over Darius, she will still have moments where she overpowers him, despite the fact she gave over a kill to him earlier. This is where we start to put it all together. Now that Aurora has a permanent half a level lead locked in, she can combine this permanent half a level lead with a temporary XP lead, which can be gained by stacking up minion waves in order to create a massive XP deficit that she can then use against her lane opponent Darius. We are now taking all of the pieces of what we learnt thus far and putting it all together to reveal the bigger picture. Our metaphorical iceberg is starting to get revealed. By the time Darius gets back to lane, Aurora is already a level up on him and is standing inside of a stacked wave, but this advantage is only going to grow for her. As Aurora's wave gets bigger, so does her temporary XP lead. Now with the permanent half a level lead she has from those previously denied minions, and the temporary XP lead she now has from the giant stacked up wave behind her, Aurora is only 1 minion away from hitting level 6, while Darius is still only level 4. Aurora was able to turn an extremely small lead of denying just 4 minions worth of XP into a massive opportunity for a solo kill, or potentially even a tower dive, where she was just 1 minion away from having the power of a 2-level lead. Now that is 4 kills worth of stats, and the advantage of having her ultimate unlocked when Darius is still just level 4. You can start to see the uses of this. Very often the best thing to do when ahead is to freeze for 1 to 2 waves to zone your opponent away from minions and create for yourself a permanent XP lead, just like Aurora did by denying those 4 minions from Darius. Then we purposely break our own freeze and begin a slow push, which we can stack up for multiple waves to create a further temporary XP lead, just like the wave that Aurora stacked up afterwards here. By combining the permanent XP lead from our freeze with the temporary XP lead from our stacked up waves, we can create massive, sometimes 2-level discrepancies by the time that wave crashes into tower, setting us up for an easy tower dive with a potentially huge reward. Now if successful, killing our opponent on a dive like this will deny them the entire wave that we have stacked up, which converts our temporary XP lead from the stacked up wave into a now permanent XP lead. If by doing this you can create a permanent XP advantage that is larger than an entire level, you will from that point onwards always be a level up on your opponent. Once you've secured this permanent XP lead of over 1 level, it means the lane is essentially over, and there will never again be a moment where you aren't substantially stronger than your lane opponent. Bringing us back to our top lane matchup of the video, as Darius is clearing out this giant wave under his tower, he's going to gain back all of the XP from these stacked up minions, which removes the temporary level lead that Aurora had from the stacked up wave. But remember, Aurora still has the permanent half a level lead that she got earlier by denying those 4 minions. What's important though is that at this point that half a level lead from Aurora is in the form of unrealized XP, because Darius is still the same level as her. Right now Aurora has a permanent half a level lead over Darius, but she hasn't yet hit her next level up, so it's in the form of unrealized XP. This would be comparable to someone who has made a ton of gold from taking a kill but hasn't yet gone to base to buy items, so their gold lead would still be unrealized. They have a lead, but they haven't yet received the benefit of that lead yet. By securing a half a level lead over Darius, Aurora will be the same level as Darius for half of the waves that come, when Darius has just recently leveled up to match her and she's only part of the way towards her next level up. But on the other half of waves, Aurora would have realized the XP that she has stored up, where she has recently leveled up to the next level, but Darius is only halfway through the level progression of his previous level. This would be comparable to someone who has received a ton of gold from taking a tower or getting a kill, but then having taken the time to base and buy items in order to realize their advantage. When a realized lead, you have received the benefit of your lead, and so you are now advantaged and can play stronger. Aurora should now play passively on the 50% of waves where she is the same level as Darius and has unrealized XP lead, but play hyper aggressively on the other 50% of waves where her XP lead is in the form of realized XP and she's a higher level than him. But this is the mistake of this Aurora player. Despite only being 1 minute away from level 6, she opts for a fight and gets chased down and solo killed by the Darius because she tried to play aggressively before her XP lead had been realized in the form of a level up, as she needed by killing just 1 more minion. Because of the solo kill, Aurora goes on to lose an entire cannon wave worth of XP to her tower while she's dead. And then, upon returning to lane, she manages to catch a couple of waves, but doesn't manage to fully crash the wave into the opposing tower, and so she then loses a second full cannon wave to Darius, who is freezing on her. Because of this, her permanent XP lead is completely gone now, and it's actually Darius who is the one with the permanent XP lead stored up. But this Darius player is actually smarter than this Aurora. Unlike her, he understands the difference between realized and unrealized XP. Darius does the correct thing here and waits until the permanent XP lead he has stored up becomes a realized one, and he only starts the fight at the same time as the melee minion dies that gives him level 7 advantage in order to fight with. Darius chunks Aurora down to half health and forces her to burn both her ultimate and her ghost in order to escape. But this is where Darius makes a very typical mistake that a lot of low elo players like to make. Darius chases her into the tower trying to finish off a kill because he's so focused on the gold lead that a kill will bring him. Because of this, Darius loses 15 minions here, which you may already know is a ton of gold, but in terms of XP, it doesn't even come close. These 15 minions that Darius lost here are worth slightly more than 300 gold, which is the exact same amount of gold that a kill gives. But in terms of XP, the wave would have given Darius over 3 times more XP than what he would have got from killing his lane opponent here. Had Darius watched this guide, he would have already known what he should have done here, is let Aurora live after she burned her ult and return back to the wave to catch it. Then he could have denied an entire 1 to 2 full minion waves by freezing in order to grow his permanent XP lead even further, before then breaking the freeze to instead start a slow push. The combination of his now massive permanent XP lead, combined with the temporary XP lead he gains from starting a slow push, would have easily given him a 2-level lead by the time that wave crashed into the tower, at which point it would have made a really easy dive against an opponent who has no ult, no summoner spells, and is playing at such a massive level deficit. Now enough with that replay, let's do something fun. What we're going to do now is a little bit of a knowledge test to see how well you can use everything that you've just learned in order to unlock the final layer and fully reveal this iceberg we've been hinting at for so long. To do this, we're going to take a look at a new replay featuring another one of my students, a Platinum 3 player on Diana, that I've worked with now for a couple of months and has a near perfect understanding of these XP based concepts. And as you'll soon see, he completely outclasses the player at his current rank now and was able to close out this game in just 19 minutes, with one huge player as the catalyst, all because of what we've just learned. This replay is from the point of view of a jungler, but don't let that scare you away if you don't main jungle. This will all come full circle in just a moment, you'll see. We jump right into our replay as our main character Diana is finishing off her bot side jungle camps, before starting her recall to head back to base, which is when she then spots a seemingly small detail that is going to have huge consequences for the outcome of this game. Diana sees the enemy jungler Brand on a ward and notices that he is only level 7. We don't know exactly how close Brand is to his next level up, but that doesn't matter. Diana is already level 8, with almost 50% of the progress needed in order to reach level 9. Most players might not even notice a small detail like this, and you still might not even understand how this matters at all, but that is because most players still don't understand the significance of a small XP lead like this and what it can mean for your future plays. It is this very small detail, the partial level lead progress that Diana has over Brand, that is a massive deal in the hands of a player who knows how to capitalize on it. And as you're about to see demonstrated by this Diana player here, despite playing in the chaos of a mid-rank solo queue game in Plat, she's still able to use the techniques that we're teaching in this video to play at a higher level than the average player in this game. If Diana was to finish her recall, run out of base, and instantly try to make an aggressive play, it would be possible that Brand in that amount of time would kill enough camps to match Diana's level 8 and be there to counter the play with the same level as her. Brand may be able to match our level 8 in time to counter our play, but what we know for certain is that Diana will always be able to get level 9 before the Brand, because she is already part of the way towards her next level up. This moment is comparable to the situation that our Aurora player from earlier in the video was faced with. Diana, just like Aurora, has a permanent XP lead over her opponent, but she still needs to make sure that that XP lead becomes a realized one in the form of a level up before she makes an aggressive play with it. With all of this in mind, what do you think our Diana player should do out of base on the following sequence, keeping in mind the current state of her XP bar? Diana takes the time after basing to first go and clear 3 camps in her topside jungle. This is the exact amount of camps needed in order for her to hit level 9, at which point we know we are at least a level up on the opposing jungler Brand. This realized level lead prompts our Diana to stop farming and to start to look for an aggressive play, which is when she looks over to mid and sees this lane state. Our team's mid laner Aurora is currently level 10, while the enemy mid laner Yone is still only level 9. What this means is, just like Diana, her mid laner Aurora also has fully realized her XP lead as well, and if a 2v2 fight was to happen in this lane, both members of Diana's team would be far stronger than their opponent because of their level up advantages. Diana has understood not only that she has a realized XP lead because of the camp she took to get level 9, but she also understands that her mid lane Aurora also has a realized XP lead as well, and so now is the perfect time to strike in order to try and kill this Yone and deny him the entire cannon wave worth of XP. Because of the massive power increase both Diana and Aurora have with their level up advantages, the dive goes smoothly, and the reward for the dive is extremely consequential for the state of mid lane. Yone, while dead, loses 2 entire minion waves, which were worth the equivalent of over 60% of a level, and because of these lost waves, Yone is now more than an entire level behind his opponent, which means that there will never again be a situation where Aurora isn't a level up over him ever again this game. Because of our Diana player and her phenomenal understanding of the power of XP, mid lane is now completely over, and it is just a matter of time before Aurora and Diana together can completely take over this game. By understanding a series of small, simple advantages and stringing them together into one big moment of realized power, Diana was able to break the stalemate and snowball the game completely out of control, with one final play that truly put the nail in the coffin of her opponent. From the seemingly small XP lead she noticed that she had over Brand when she spotted him on that ward, patience she then had in order to wait for that lead to become realized by taking the extra jungle camps needed for her level up, to the awareness she had in order to spot that it was not only her but also her mid laner as well who had that same small window of realized advantage as well. Our Diana player has put all of the pieces of the puzzle together to show us why in the modern day XP is the main driving force for what is going to help you break out of your own stalemate and help you play at a much higher level than what you're currently playing at. Remember to check out skillcup.com if you want to stop being stuck and start climbing today. It's risk-free, so what are you waiting for? Use the links below as it saves you money and helps me out. I promise you will not be disappointed. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and I truly hope today's guide helped you out a ton. See you next time.